All right, let's talk about the road to revolution, the journey to Copilot. So the first point I want to address is the fact we are entering a new era of productivity revolution powered by generative AI. You probably remember Clippy, because I do. It was one of the first attempts from Microsoft to enhance your personal productivity. But to be honest, it wasn't entirely a success, right? But today, we are entering a new era of AI Copilot, and this time it's different. And let me explain why. You probably have played with ChatGPT already by now. If you're interested in AI, for sure, you know about this product and you tried this product before. So when ChatGPT was launched, it truly brought the power of large language models to every one of us. So we can actually try out this application without being an expert in generative AI or in machine learning. So that's really the beauty of it. And of course, ChatGPT turned out to be a huge success. In fact, it's the fastest growing consumer application ever. It's the fastest in reaching 100 million users. Very impressive. Following the success of ChatGPT, you probably have seen announcement around Copilots from Microsoft and from other organizations. So Copilots, they started this new trend, emerging trend of having AI assistants helping you with cognitive tasks. So that's why we call them co-pilots. They will be working alongside you, enhancing your productivity, making you more productive at work. Let me take a few examples. So one of the first co-pilots that we launched for Microsoft is called GitHub Copilot. If you're a developer, if you're familiar with software development, you probably have already heard about or used GitHub before. So GitHub Copilot is almost like auto-completion, but for programming, right? Imagine you are a developer, you're just writing first a couple lines in code, and GitHub Copilot will actually make recommendations on how to complete the code. It will help you review the code. It will help you with documentation as well. Because let's be honest, no developers really enjoy writing documentation. So GitHub Copilot is already being used by developers around the world, including my colleagues at Microsoft. So in fact, in my office where I am based in Oslo, Norway, I have colleagues sitting on the 4th floor, and they're writing up to 50% of their code on a daily basis using GitHub Copilot. So now they're almost twice as productive. So that's just fascinating. Another example I want to bring to your attention is what we call Microsoft 365 Copilot. So I think many of us are already using Microsoft 365 productivity applications on a daily basis. Everything from Outlook to Teams to Excel to PowerPoint, etc. We're already being enhanced with our productivity by using those applications as they are today. But today, we're actually bringing those applications to the next level by combining them with large language models, such as GPT-4 models. So we can actually infuse, advanced AI capabilities into those applications. So by combining large language models with your own data within your enterprise environment, in those productivity applications, we can actually enable you to have natural language interactions with the different applications. Just imagine yourself, telling Excel in natural language to turn a table into a chart for you, or telling, PowerPoint to turn a Word document into a slide deck for you. That sounds like magic, but they're not really, because once you get your hands onto the Microsoft 365 Copilot, those will become reality for you. And I personally am very much looking forward to using many of the features coming out of Microsoft 365 Copilot. And in fact, some of the features are being rolled out within Microsoft to our employees already. So we're really drinking our own champagne, if you like. So one of my favorite features so far is actually the Copilot within Teams meetings. As a business leader at Microsoft, I run a lot of meetings, and many of the business review meetings, they can last between 2 to 3 hours. So it's quite a task for me to personally summarize and recap those meetings, right? Because I need to summarize what has been discussed, what has been agreed upon, and what are the action items, and who should be doing what after the meeting. And that's quite time-consuming for me before. But now, with the help of AI Copilot within Microsoft Teams, that can be done with AI. So what I need to do is just to record a meeting, record a Teams meeting once we start, and the meeting will be recorded and transcribed. And then the AI Copilot will actually be analyzing the meeting transcription and then providing me with an intelligent meeting recap just a couple minutes after the meeting ended. So in the intelligent meeting recap, I will be having a list of conclusions from the meeting. Fantastic. I would also have a list of action items, even assigned to the right person who should be taking actions. Right? So that's just amazing. And this is saving me hours on a daily basis already. And I'm sure you would benefit from such productivity enhancement within Teams by using AI Copilot. So now let's define what is Copilot. We have seen a couple of examples of AI Copilots, but let's define it. So we believe Copilots are applications using modern AI technology, quite often generative AI technology, to assist you with complex cognitive tasks. So the goal here are twofold. First, we want to make you more productive by assisting you with cognitive tasks when it comes to understanding, but also navigating and processing and generating knowledge. Second thing is really having the AI Copilot sitting beside you, being your colleague, being your companion, not really replacing you, but actually helping you. So that's why we call it a co-pilot instead of a pilot. So the vision for Microsoft is to have a co-pilot for every profession and every industry. I have already mentioned examples of AI Copilot for developers, AI Copilot for knowledge workers, so everyone who deals with information in the office, be it in person or hybrid. And we have also launched the AI Copilot for sales marketing people, for finance colleagues, for customer service agents, etc. And the list goes on. But what we want to achieve is actually to bring along the whole ecosystem, meaning the customers and partners of Microsoft together, so we can all build AI Copilots for every industry and every roles. To do that, we have announced the Copilot Stack. This is something that I'm really excited about because Copilot Stack is really based on the learnings from Microsoft and our partners. So we're distilling, some of the learnings into a replicable framework for you to leverage when building your own Copilot. So, in the Copilot Stack, you would see, different modules and layers, what is needed for an AI application. Everything from AI infrastructure to AI models, to the application layer and the user experience. And of course, in between, the orchestration layer, which help you align AI capabilities towards your specific use cases. So that's what we mean Copilot Stack. And you can, of course, find more details on the internet if you want to dig more into that. And I'm going to say a few more words about this one in the third section as well. Now let's talk about foundation models. So we have seen some great examples on how AI copilots are enhancing the productivity of different roles. But behind the scene, what is really driving the innovation of AI copilots are foundation models. And in fact, foundation models, they are becoming a new platform for innovation. Not only for Microsoft organizations across different industries. And let me explain why. Let me start by just making a distinction between the more classic machine learning model and the foundation models that we're talking about today. If you ask me, 4 or 5 years ago on how I work with AI or machine learning projects, I would tell you, I would be leading a data science team, and they would be, building a model starting from scratch. They would start with, exploring the data, understanding the data, and then define a rather narrow, problem, and then, find the right algorithm and train the right model to address that particular challenge. So it's normally very narrow. It does one thing. For example, distinguishing a cat picture from a dog picture, right? But nowadays, we're talking about foundation models. And foundation models, they are typically trained with much, much more data. And at the same time, they are typically much more capable, meaning that they bring broader intelligence, they are more versatile, and you can use one single model for multiple use cases. And so this is why, we believe we're at a pivotal point in the AI development in the industry, because foundation models truly unlock a lot of new possibilities and scenarios when it comes to applying AI towards different industries. So one thing I want to highlight to you is on how fast the whole foundation model domain is developing. So if you look at the curve on the slide, you will notice how steep it is, because the whole industry is really accelerating when it comes to development. Let's just take the GPT models as an example. So you probably have heard about it. GPT models are the models developed by OpenAI, and they represent the state of the art when it comes to large language models. So when OpenAI announced the first version of GPT models back in 2018, it has just around 200 million parameters. When it announced GPT-3, it has almost 200 billion parameters. And earlier this year, when they announced the GPT-4, which they didn't disclose the size of, it is estimated that GPT-4 has around 1 trillion parameters. So now you see, every time there's a new generation of GPT model, we're talking about a new order of magnitude, and that's just impressive, right? So the industry is moving really fast. So I think maybe one takeaway for you is that if you don't go fast in your learning, you will fall behind when it comes to the development in the market. So definitely, I think by joining this course, it's a great start for you to keep pace with the development in the AI space and make sure you're well suited in having conversation about this topic, but also for the future job market. So one thing I do want to double click is on the definition of large language models. When I talk about foundation models, I'm referring to broadly large AI models trained with a massive amount of data. So foundation models can be about language, can be about computer vision, or can be even multimodality, right? A combination of text and vision models. So here in this particular segment, we want to focus on large language models, because this is one of the most widely used foundation model category right now in the market. So when we say large language models, first, it's a language model. It understands and processes language. It's trained on massive amount of text data, thinking about books and text on the internet, and it will be able to understand text, but also generate new text. And it's large because it's large in size when it comes to the number of parameters. We talked about the example of GPT before. It's also large when it comes to the size of the training data, right? It's much larger when it comes to the training data set compared to a more traditional machine learning model, so to speak. And the last thing I want to mention is the fact that the large language models can particularly bring broader intelligence, and they can support a variety of tasks, from summarizing text to doing copywriting, or to reasoning over complex and vast amount of text. So that's the type of use cases and capabilities that we're bringing to the table with large language models in the industry. So from Microsoft's point of view, we have been working very intensively with our customers and partners in the past couple of months, and also in the past couple of years, on bringing large language models into the industry, and really enabling everyone to be able to use large language models easily and safely. So one of the products that we are doing that. So one of the products where we have launched for that particular purpose is on Azure OpenAI Service. So Azure OpenAI Service is out of the collaboration between Microsoft and OpenAI. So what we have done together is to bring some of the large language models from OpenAI to the Azure cloud and make them enterprise ready, meaning that we're adding security, privacy, and data protection features to make sure that AI, such strong and advanced AI capabilities, can be used in a secure and responsible manner. Responsible AI is a very key topic. I think some of you will be double-clicking on this topic in your later learning journey. We won't go into details here, but with great power comes great responsibility. It's the same with AI models. We're using powerful AI models, and we need to use them responsibly. So now we have talked about large language models. We have talked about the example from Microsoft when it comes to Azure OpenAI Service. I want to share a few use cases. Because at the end of the day, large language models or Azure OpenAI Service, they are the technology. But technology, they are enablers for business value creation. So we want to enable use cases within actual real-life business scenarios across different industries. So I've had the pleasure myself to work with many different organizations, from retail to banking to energy to telco, etc. Different industries have different characteristics, but there are some commonalities when it comes to common use cases. So let me explain a couple of the use cases to you. So one of the first use cases for many organizations would be actually building an enterprise version of ChatGPT. So meaning having a private version of ChatGPT-like chatbot experience, quite often built with Azure OpenAI service, for their employees to learn about this technology, to explore and experiment in a safe and secure environment. So this is quite often the first step. And once that's done, we also start to see organizations connecting this enterprise ChatGPT with their internal data. It could be HR data, IT data, or data about financial documents, etc. In that case, employees can actually easily retrieve information from those documents or ask questions about internal data. So that's where you start to combine large language models with your own data, and you can actually make the models work for your organization. So that's quite exciting. And from there, we see organizations start to explore a wide range of various tasks depending on their industry, depending on their function. So they might look into infusing large language models into their contact center. If they are a large insurance company or a large telco, etc. They might be using large language model to analyze the recordings between their customers and their customer agents. Because if you think about a large contact center, there are hundreds or even thousands of calls happening on a daily basis. It's quite a daunting task for the contact center to really understand, what the customer and the customer agents actually discussed about and what are the key pain points from the customer. So by using large language models, you will be able to summarize the transcriptions of the calls or discover key insights and understand customer sentiments, etc. And those insights can then help you with the planning of new products or even campaigns.